Thanks for tuning in. You're still watching the World News. At least 7 people were killed, including 3 attackers and 13 others wounded in 2 separate attacks targeting civilians in Kirkuk late on Monday. They said a car bomb went off in Al-Wahada neighborhood in central Kirkuk, killing 4 civilians and wounding 7 others. 3 militants and 1 Kurdish guard were killed, where militants driving a car packed with explosives tried to break into Kurdish security office. At least 23 people were killed and 87 wounded in attacks across Iraq on Monday, underlining sectarian and ethnic divisions that threaten to further destabilize the country a year after U.S. troops left. In science and technology, New Caledonian crows are well known for their ability to use tools, but new research recorded on video reveals the impressive binocular overlap of the celebrated bird's vision, which helps it to seek out food. Researchers from the British universities of Oxford, Birmingham, and St. Andrews got a bird's eye view of the crow at work by placing an ophthalmoscope video camera inside a baited tube and studying how the corvid uses its overlapping vision and straight bill to help it access larvae.
A New Caledonian crow seeks to prize out its dinner with a twig. British researchers have uncovered the secret behind the corvid's impressive use of rudimentary tools, binocular vision and a long straight bill. They used an ophthalmoscope video camera to record the field of view and eye movement of 3 captive birds as they levered larvae from a tube. University of Birmingham researcher Jackie Chappell says the corvid used both eyes to help it judge the distance to its hard-to-access prey.
The bird definitely has both eyes looking down the tube, and it's converging its eyes so it can use both to look down the tube and see what the tip of the tool is actually doing. And you can see it's got the food nearer to the entrance of the tube, and in a moment we'll actually be able to get the larva out. There it is. So it gets its reward.
The study suggested the New Caledonian crow's forward-facing eyes provide almost 50% more binocular overlap than non-tool using corvids. Its straight bill also helps.
This is holding the tool across their bill, in their bill, but pressing one side of it against their cheek, which helps to stabilize it and gives them a better grip on it. Whereas when the aperture was narrower, then they tended to just be able to use one eye because it's a much smaller hole, and they tended then to favor more a straighter grip.
The team say the New Caledonian crow demonstrated the greatest binocular overlap ever measured in a bird species. University of Oxford lecturer August von Bayern says corvids, including this rook, are highly cognizant.
Corvids count among the most intelligent birds in terms of their brain size relative to their body size. They have huge brains, together with parrots, probably the largest brains in birds. And in the last 10 years, research has shown that they compare at comparable level to apes, our closest relatives, and sometimes even outperform them in tests. So they're terribly clever.
Dolphins, elephants and cockatoos are among non-primates found to use tools. But the researchers believe this study demonstrates the first evidence of body features tailored for tool use in non-primates. Among the brightest species in the avian kingdom, the bird really does have plenty to crow about.
Meanwhile, hundreds of swimmers at Australia's Bondi Beach fled to safety and away from the water after a shark sighting on Tuesday. Local media reported that a surf patrol boat was on a routine surveillance when the lifeguards saw a large shark at approximately 4 p.m. local time. A shark alarm was sounded to warn swimmers to get out of the water, and some tourists said they were frightened by the experience. Local media said the beach was closed for about 30 minutes before the swimmers were allowed to go back into the water. Another animal news, 2012 was a deadly year for Africa's rhino population. By mid-December, 633 rhinos had been poached in South Africa, the country home to most of the continent's rhinos. Julian Redemeyer, journalist and author of Killing for Profit, says rhino killings have been rising year after year.
I think there's increasing demand. We've seen more than 600 rhinos poached so far this year. Last year it was 448. The year before it was 333. We've seen a steady increase year on year for the last sort of 4 years. In many ways, demand seems to be growing exponentially.
Rhino horn has been valued for centuries in Chinese medicine, where it was used to treat a range of maladies, including rheumatism, gout, and even possession by devils. Demand has recently been growing in Vietnam, where a newly affluent class has been buying it to treat ailments ranging from hangovers to cancer. Moving now to Japan, there's one challenge the Prime Minister won't be able to tackle anytime soon: Japan's aging and shrinking population. New government figures show the number of people coming of age in 2012 matched the record lower set than the year before.
People in Japan can vote, drink and smoke when they turn 20. A survey by the Internal Affairs Ministry found that 1.22 million Japanese reached the milestone in 2012. That's the same figure as a year earlier. That's the lowest since the government began compiling data more than 40 years ago. 20-year-olds now make up less than 1% of the population. The number of people reaching adulthood peaked in 1970. The first post-war baby boomers came of age that year, but it's more than halved since then. And ministry officials say the figure will continue to fall as birth rates are on the decline.
And finally, in tennis, Australian Open champion Novak Djokovic suffered an injury scare at the Hopman Cup on Monday when world number 1 hurt his leg as fans pushed towards him while he signed autographs. Djokovic had wrapped up a 6-3, 6-4 victory over Italian Andrea Seppi when the incident happened. The Serb left his rackets and bag on the court and limped straight up the players' tunnel to receive a medical assessment in the locker room. Djokovic was unable to complete a television interview he had agreed to after his victory. However, he had recovered enough to take part in the concluding doubles match won by the Italians. Djokovic and Ana Ivanovic held an unassailable 2-0 in the tie against the Italian pairing of Seppi and Francesca Schiavoni. Djokovic is taking part in the round-robin teams event to be guaranteed at least 3 matches in his build-up to the Australian Open, which begins on January 14th. On that note, we end today's World News. See you again next time.